So today is my youngest son's 33rd birthday. Can't believe it. 33 years since the nurse handed me that little bundle of joy. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. No,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
I know. It makes me feel very old.
Well, my eldest is coming up 50 this year.
Oh. Wow.
I can't get my head around that.
That's a pretty scary thought. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just yesterday I was turning 50, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, time is flying faster all the time. You know, it seems like every year is a little harder to mow the lawn and do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing it though, and I think it keeps you, fairly, healthy to have things to do.
Yep. No, you've got to keep it up.
Yeah.
Well, before we go beyond 50 to 60 or to 70, I want to call the meeting of the Strathcona Gardens Commission together. And just before I do, I just want to make a comment. Director Lee, I am so appreciative of your support as Vice Chair of Strathcona Gardens and how you conduct yourself here at these meetings. The previous meeting was, to say the least, not professional and very disappointing. But that I wanted to make special note that Director Lee, you have been very good in my eyes. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I noticed we've been agreeing on more things lately, so that's good. Like some of the issues we did agree on, like mail out ballots and things.
It makes a big difference, Commissioner Lee, so thank you. So we'll do confirmation of the quorum and call the meeting to order and adoption of the public agenda, please.
So
move adoption. Second.
Okay, so I think that was Commissioner Gunnerud, and I think Commissioner Evans got in there just before Commissioner Lee. I know it's a race, but I think we got it.
That's okay.
I will just add to new business under M that there will be some Rogers Hometown hockey stuff for you guys. So that's just an addendum. So if all in favor of the agenda as amended, call the question.
No
all
one
in favor?
Opposed?
Anyone opposed? That's carried. Petitions or delegations? Mr. Yates?
Before we move to that, we have business arising from minutes. I just had one thing to raise.
We haven't gone that far yet, Commissioner Lee. We'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Yates?
No petitions or delegations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Adoption of the previous minutes of March 16th.
Move adoption.
That would be Evans and Lee. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. And moving to
Business arising.
business arising from the previous minutes, Commissioner Lee.
I just wanted to let the rest of the commission know that Area D did supply the Campbell River Killer Whales Swim Club with $3,500 grant and aid to assist them in this year's operating expenses. I know they came to the commission and they wanted help with all the money they lost during the pandemic and the strike and whatnot. And I contacted the head of their group and said, make a grant application, and it went through the board. It's approved. So that's good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee.
Welcome.
Appreciate your grant and aids to the greater community. That will buy an awful lot of water wings. So that's great. So receipt of the verbal update.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Anyone opposed? That is carried. Public considerations, Mr. Yates, anything?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And under the chair's reports, the Campbell River Parks and Recreation, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Robin Mitchell, who is the City of Campbell River's new Parks and Recreation Manager. Mr. Mitchell. So-
Nope, just thank you very much for the introduction, and I'm looking forward to working with the city of Campbell River, and I've met a couple of folks from Strathcona Gardens at a meeting earlier today.
So, Mr. Mitchell or Robin, maybe you could just come up to a mic and give a brief rundown as to how you got here and your background, just for the benefit of the commissioners that are online. Not to put you on the spot, but that's what I do.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you now.
All right. My name's Robin Mitchell. I came from Calgary, where I've worked in recreation for about the last 30 years. I've managed a lot of the large facilities out of Calgary that were public, not private. So the Talisman Center or Repsol Center, which is a double 50-meter pool and tent suspension with the iconic roof. I was the president and COO there for 5 years. I've also looked after the several YMCA projects, and most recently in a large project, built a $55 million project out in Spray Lake Sawmills Family Sports Center in Cochrane area, where I was there with the original 195,000 square feet, and then we added 150 to it. Most recently came out of Calgary area, where we were managing a 10-sheet curling facility and rinks and squash and racquetball courts. So I have a fairly varied background in managing individual facilities. I also spent a couple of years out in the city of Meadow Lake in Saskatchewan, which don't ever go there for a winter compared to what you guys get here, because it's just completely different, minus 50, and you can't get warm. And I managed the recreation for the city of Meadow Lake, which had several standalone venues similar to the ones here at the city of Campbell River. I'm thrilled to be here. It's an opportunity that I was looking at, trying to explore, coming out to the island for the last 5 or 10 years. And when this opportunity and position came up, I was all over and excited about it. So I'm very happy to be here. And so far, the first 8 days have been awesome. It's been information overload, and you're adding to it today, but it's been enjoyable. So thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. And for the benefit of the commission, I'd have given Mr. Mitchell the homework of reading through all of the recreate binders and material to get up to speed, as I really see a good cooperation between the city's recreation department and the Strathcona Regional District, particularly Strathcona Gardens, that plays such a major part. When I see International Field as the season-ending curling championship in Olds, Alberta, I can't help think that at the size of Campbell River, there are opportunities that are beyond what we have been able to achieve so far. So thank you for joining us today, and if you want to stick around, you're welcome to. These meetings, until we get into the closed session, are always open, so whether it's virtually or in person.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Leach? Oh,
We're only allowed 2 buttons on at a time, so you'll get a shock if you try that again. So on behalf of the Regional District, welcome. Glad to see you aboard. I think you'll enjoy the area. Probably the chair's mentioned, I don't know the Calgary series, what that's sitting at right now. You mentioned Calgary a few times. I don't think they're doing. Oh, okay, all right.
that changes things.
It's still under probation, I think. Yeah. So, welcome. We would love to have you come and sit and attend these meetings. I think we would welcome and enjoy more participation and collaboration with the city. We got a lot of things going on. We have a recreation study that we're hoping to be part of, and with a lot of other member municipalities, that I think it's integral that we begin to work closer together. We'll talk about a grant opportunity now, and you'll see how those synergies or clashing of heads can happen here. And I think your participation in the communication will just help things along. So welcome, and hope to see you. And introduce yourself to these folks. These are all the people that are you'll likely be dealing with in terms of recreation. The city has followed through on a request to hire more Robins. That makes it easy. Robin Kentrop is our facilities manager there. So that if we speak to you in a harsh tone calling you Robin, it was probably meant for him. Apologize in advance.
Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Mitchell, have you been introduced to people, or would you like to, that?
Down this side I have,
Okay,
except for yourself, sir. I haven't met you. And then the rest of the side.
okay.
bits and pieces,
So
yes.
Wolfgang, maybe you can go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So nice to meet you, Robin. My name is Wolfgang Parada. I'm the manager of engineering services with the regional district.
Okay.
And I work with Robin, Sarah, and Craig on currently on the Recreate project and future capital projects for the facility. Thank you.
And our money man over in the corner?
Hi there, Mike Armstrong, CFO here at Regional District.
And
And Robin, we met, yes, City Councilor Colleen Reyes and Commissioner.
So I was probably anxious to give you the Calgary jab and forget my name. I'm Dave Leach. I'm the CAO here. So.
Tom Yates, corporate officer, which means basically doing everything that Dave Leach doesn't want to do around here. So nice to meet you.
Betty?
Betty Wasloo, I'm the corporate services assistant. Wendy Watson, senior executive assistant on the corporate office.
Can't hear
And-
anything.
And on the line, we have Commissioner Lee, who is the Electoral Area Director for Area D, which is directly south of town. And I will acknowledge that Director Lee continually provides grant and aids for sporting organizations that operate out of Strathcona Gardens and within the city of Campbell River. Also online, we have Commissioner Kerr, who is City of Campbell River Councillor and Rep on the Strathcona Gardens Commission. And Commissioner Grunnerud, do you want to, I don't know we have enough time to go through your whole dossier and background, but it's quite extensive.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Robin. My background is mostly sports and recreation, from every sport that I may have played or my children may have played or now my grandchildren may be playing, from green sports to ice sports. So welcome, Robin.
And Robin, Cal is an integral player of the Campbell River Minor Hockey Association and BC Hockey Association. So thank you.
I just wanted to say one thing
Yes.
for Mr. Mitchell's benefit. I'm the director for Oyster Bay, Buddle Lake, which is a large, huge area south of Campbell, but all around Campbell out to Gold River almost. And my area has been a financial and active participant in this service since 1972. And I've been elected for 30 years. So I'm pretty adamant, no matter what you hear from anyone else, this facility, Strathcona Gardens, belongs to Area D people as much as to Campbell River people. And, you know, you'll hear from me occasionally trying to protect Area D's interests in our recreation and what we pay for it and who participates. So, you know, look out for me.
And as I said right off the top, Commissioner Lee has become a good team player.
Usually.
I'm going to move on. Staff reports. Section 1, Recreation Feasibility Study Update. Motion to receive, and then I'll turn it over to staff.
Move receipt.
Thank
Move.
you. And seconded by Commissioner Gunnerud, and to staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if, is Renee online?
I am.
Okay, then Renee will speak to it.
Thank you, Chair Adams and Commissioner members. I just want to provide a brief update on the status of the recreational feasibility study that was approved last year and inform the commission members that there has been a delay in the start of the project. This was due to capacity and human resources available within the SRD and member municipalities. We are ready to move forward, and I look forward to connecting with Robin on this particular project as well. And we'll be reaching out to, we did receive a number of proposals of interested parties who would like to work on this project. So we'll be doing an evaluation process with those proposals in the next couple months. And we anticipate that the project will take 4 months once we award the contract.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to take my hand down. Sorry.
Okay.
I have nothing to say.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes, thank you. And just with regards to the report, and it talked about opportunities for member organizations to opt in or opt out. Is that what you're referring to, that you've had proposals from member organizations that want to be a participant in this? I'm just trying to understand what the scope is of who will be participating in the study.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we did issue an RFP and had respondents to that RFP. And then in terms of member municipalities, we'll be reaching out throughout the SRD to the other member municipalities to see who would like to be involved in a working group to evaluate the projects and provide input.
Okay, that was what I thought was going to happen, but I thought I heard you said that you already had a number of member municipalities participating, but that will be part of the process moving forward.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Right.
Mr. Leach?
So just for the commission and Robin's information, this is going to be a little complex, right? Because we have the City of Campbell River, we have Sayward, we have Gold River, so we have large member munis that have different goals and ideas. We have very small communities in the regional district with nice facilities and difficulty running them. So the commission came up with a resolution that we'd look at creating a report and a study to see if there's any synergies that we can bring these groups together when we have some real dichotomies there. So what we're interested in is having all, obviously Campbell River, yourself, and having the member municipalities evaluate this and kind of get to the core of, you know, how we consolidate this and bring it together as, you know, one universal, you know, service with a varying level of service, if you will. So, you know, anxious, interested to have your participation and all the other member munis in it to see what we can get out of this study.
Thank you. Anything further? Commissioner Lee?
I have a question through the chair to the CAO or to Renee. The Strathcona Gardens Commission was established under bylaw 1213 in 1972, and it mandates what Area D and Campbell River's ownership of this place is and what we pay for it, what our portion of payment for it is. And if there's any alteration in that, would Area D be given the opportunity to opt out? If say there was a proposal for Area D to pay for Gold Rivers Recreation Center and we didn't want to, could we just opt out of what you're proposing? Because I feel that we already pay for a hefty, you know, price for Strathcona Gardens to keep that operating, and we've participated all these years. We've invested, Area D and Campbell River have invested millions of dollars, like 7 or 8 million a year. And I'm not going to see our progress on our facility be diminished by, you know, a bunch of hangers on coming on board, because they have to pay for what they get and not free ride on our service. So as long as it wasn't.
So hopefully I can answer that question. First of all, just for clarity, the annual budget for the gardens is $6 million collectively. So it's not possible to contribute 6 or 7 million from Area D a year. But
I think it was like 2 million, and Campbell River was 5 million last year.
Yeah, again, a requisition, 6 million. But we know we're looking for some collective synergies here, some economies of scale. There's no way I'm going to bring back a report that says, hey, I got some great ideas that we can collectively unite this service, and Area D and the Campbell River are going to pay more money. Like that, we already know that's off the table. So we're going to look at options that can, again, hopefully bring some synergies through services, through purchasing, through programming, whatever it be. But knowing the end result of that has to be some benefit to Campbell River and Area D, or this is a waste of time. So the intent, there isn't going to be anything for Area D to opt out of, because we're not going to saddle Area D or the city with additional costs that they have already. So if that's all that came out of it, then the study is the study, and it was just for information purposes.
So if the study comes up with, okay, Area D is now going to pay for the outdoor pool and, the curling rink and X, Y, and Z, that is not part of the original establishment bylaw, then Area D could apply to opt out, right?
Well, again, we're not going to bring that forward, so there's going to be no option for Area D to opt out, because we're not going to bring something as foolish as that forward.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Don't see anything further. So on the recreational feasibility state report on receipt, all in favor, anyone opposed? That's carried. Strategic Priorities Fund.
Move receipt.
Second.
Mr. Leach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I've brought this forward just for discussion purposes. I mean, I think we all collectively know the answer to this, but timing's an issue with having a board resolution. So this morning I brought the same report to the Electoral Area Services Committee. We have it here today at the Gardens, with my intention of kind of drawing some discussion out of the conversation, and then bringing one report to the board with options on this funding project, what we're going to make application for. So because there's a timeline associated with it, the application is due in June. That doesn't give us time enough to go to the Gardens, go to EASC, have those go to the board, have reports come back and forth. So I just wanted to have an open discussion. Again, I think the line of sight on what we're going to do here in recreation is likely clear. But to talk about the program, Wolf knows a few more details of it, but it's what previously known as the Gas Tax Fund. It's an opportunity for recreation grant funding up to $6 million. And so what I've said to EASC is the same here. Let's have a discussion. Staff will consolidate the thoughts of EASC and the Gardens. We'll bring a report to the board with some options for recommendations. So the program allows for 3 capital infrastructure applications and 1 capacity building. And the other thing that's really important here to have a discussion about is line of sight and communication, as we talked about earlier, is that the city will receive the same opportunities, right? So we've had discussions about, are we going to work against each other, right? The sports complex is in need of plenty of work, as we know, and what we do here is going to be impacted by what the city does as well. So having the folks from the city here go back when staff bring the report forward, and what's going to do is going to impact, obviously, with us, what we're going to do. So just want to open it up for discussion. Again, I think Wolf's line of sight is on, obviously, the Recreate program. He has pieced out a piece of that project in the last funding opportunity that was somewhere in the ballpark of this program. This program will provide up to about $6 million. And so if that's something that the Gardens, which I suspect they do, want us to bring forward to the board, I think Wolf has a good handle on putting an application together that fits that program.
And just for the benefit of the commission and also the SRD staff members, there's no question the city has got some challenges, whether it be with minor baseball for lighting and fields and mounds and fencing, but also spilling over into the use of Willow Point Park for soccer and rugby in the fall and winter seasons. They're also plans at Centennial Pool for the change room, but that is already in the financial plan. But I think it's important that we are working collaboratively and not competing on grants and being very strategic as to how we're going to do it. And also just to be aware that the master Parks and Recreation Plan for the city of Campbell River, which is probably 6 years overdue, is on Mr. Leach's things to do, but we wouldn't be expecting that and would probably not be considered anytime until the next financial plan, which would be probably starting in December and January. So that would probably be the earliest. So I wouldn't see any conflict with this particular deadline and grant application. Mr. Mitchell, do you want to comment on that, or are you ready to go? You got one in your back pocket. Commissioner Evans.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say how appreciative I am of this collaborative approach and putting options forward for consideration. I do think that allows the board to have a real robust and participatory discussion on what project to ultimately move forward. So I just wanted to say, Chair, how much I appreciate that this is the approach that we're taking for this.
Thank you. Commissioner Gunnerud?
Just thank you very much. That you spoke briefly, Chair, about are we better off to work together on ideas and projects that are similar, or are we better off to go in different directions, i.e. the RD look at ice or winter type sports, i.e. being hockey, skating, curling, that type of thing, and then the city look at more summertime green type sports, ball, rugby, soccer.
And Commissioner Gunnerud, I think that's really a discussion for when we're revisiting the city of Campbell River and the Strathcona Regional District's Parks and Recreation Master Plans. I think for now and what we're looking at right now is we've got Recreate as our priority project. We have an opportunity with some more funding options, and I think that's what our priority is right now, unless I hear otherwise from the commission members. Commissioner Lee?
Through the chair to our CAO, I didn't realize that there was only 6 million available in this particular funding stream. Is that right? 6 million?
No, there's, Wolf, I believe 100 million, but the maximum award is 6 million.
I see. So for our huge Recreate project, which was like 60 million, 80 million, it's just a drop in the bucket as to what we need for that engineered design plan we put in for infrastructure.
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize it as a drop in the bucket. I think we're around, I want to say 42 million with our pared down scope, because the whole enchilada, including the arena, was around the 70 million. So we're around 42. We know we took a stab at the large grant funds at the 70, and it was just too much of a pill for the province to swallow. So we've instructed to pare it down. And so now I think Wolf has a nice piece of the pie here that fits into the 6 million. And, you know, based on what we've done with our requisitions, our reserves, our borrowing capacity, and grants, the 6 million, it may seem like a drop in the bucket, but I think it would give us the go-ahead on it. So we just need, you know, in my mind, about a $6 to $9 million grant. And I've always had it in my line of sight that with our current requisition, the money we have in reserves, that we'd be able to move forward on this project without any increases to the requisition. So the 6 million would allow us to do that.
And just before I go to Wolf, on the, well, Mr. Leach has said we have the funding structure in place, but that would be dependent on MFA financing, which we would then incur interest and have to extend to pay that off. But that's incorporated into what we've currently budgeted. If we get the 6 million, that comes off the top, and we're not paying the interest that we would have to pay to MFA on that borrowing. So it would make a significant difference and more than the 6 million on face value. Wolfgang?
Yeah, just thank you so much. Just to confirm that what Dave mentioned about that the maximum investment is 100 million, and a piece of data that I found is like back in 2015 and 2017, 170 projects were submitted and approved, and the total funding given was 291 million. So now we're down to almost 200 million. So that is 34% of that total. So it seems like they're just giving way less in this third intake.
Right.
Each municipality and regional district is allowed to submit 3 applications for capital infrastructure and 1 for capacity building. So what we're looking at right now is for capital infrastructure for the Recreate project. So we're looking at what is the best option out of the 2 phases that we have. One phase being the new aquatic center, the second phase, which is the renovation of the existing facility. How can we carve that to come up with a good application that we could submit by June the 30th, which I find this really interesting that they announced these intakes for grants, and they only allow us like 60 days to put it all together and submit it. Now, we have a big advantage, which is the fact that this project is under detailed design, which is providing more information that is being asked by the grants, which means we have more design, we have more clear estimates, which reduces the number of risks, and I think that's what they want to see. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
May I just say one more thing?
Just before Commissioner Lee, we have
Okay.
Mr. Harmson.
I just had one
Okay.
question. Municipalities listed are limited to 1 capital infrastructure application and 1 capacity building, and then regional districts can apply a total of 3 times for the capital and 1 for the capacity. Thanks.
Commissioner Lee?
I couldn't hear Mr. Harmston, what he said.
Oh.
It was really
Okay.
quiet.
My apologies. Just a quick clarification on what Wolfgang said. Municipalities are limited to 1 application for capital improvements, whereas regional districts can apply 3 times.
Okay, so at this morning's EASC meeting, I said that there were 2 projects that we have Schedule D design for, ready to go and apply. One of them, Strathcona Gardens, totally support applying for that grant for the maximum we can get. And the other one was Area D's universal water metering, which we have not received approval for, although we've applied twice before, and we were promised we were going to get it this last time, and I still don't know. So I want to resubmit for that. Apart from that, I don't think we should spread our ducks too thin. I mean, Director Abrams said he had a couple projects that he's going to duke it out with us over, and he just got $4 million. He got 2 separate grants from the UBCM for water and sewer projects within the past 3 months. So, I mean, I think it's our turn to get some money. We've been waiting long enough for Strathcona Gardens, and we should be really putting some pressure on the minister to pay attention to us.
So Commissioner Lee, I think if you and Director Abrams are going to duke it out, I'd be betting on you. Okay, Wolfgang.
Yeah, no, Director Lee, just to clarify, I've been reading the program guide, and it clearly speaks about the stacking rules. We submitted 2 applications under the ICIP, Invested in Canada Infrastructure Projects. We're not allowed to, this program here, Strategic Priorities Fund, does not allow or does not permit stacking with the Invested in Canada Infrastructure Program. So we won't be able to submit the application that we put to the water meters for electoral area D.
So we didn't get the other one. Pardon? We didn't get the water metering project.
No.
No, that's not
So
accurate.
why
We-
can't,
No, we have an application in for the water metering. What Wolf is telling you is you can't stack on that, so putting an application in, a second application, you're not gonna be able to stack on top. We're good for water metering, though. We're gonna get our latest application.
Just for clarification, Mr. Leach, though, if there is a response to the current application for water meters for Area D prior to the submission, then it potentially could be contemplated.
I suppose, yeah.
But as long as it is in the application stage, that would then prevent another application going in for this grant opportunity.
Yeah, I think they would look at it as saying you have one already in, you can't double dip on that. I think the
we-
likelihood, you know, having multiple applications in the multiple programs, I think is probably a disadvantage. I personally think we're sitting good for Area D water meters as it is, so.
well, if they don't give us an answer, then we could withdraw the application and put this one in. You know, if they're not gonna give us an answer, then
Yeah, we all know
we're
answers.
chancing.
Yeah, we all know answers come slowly with the province, so we just have to be patient.
Abram got 2 answers worth 4 million in the past month. So what about Area D? You know, I don't understand.
Well, I don't think anyone in this table is in a position to be able
No.
to answer that, so.
But I'm
we
just
will-
giving you some background on,
Yeah.
like, I support Strathcona Gardens applying for this priority grant and the water metering in Area D if the province isn't gonna step up on the latest grant we put in, then we need to cancel that and apply again. But
Okay.
apart from that, I think we should put all our eggs in those 2 baskets and not in 3 baskets. Cause I'll be pretty mad if Quadra gets another couple million over top of what we don't get.
So with that, Commissioner Lee, I think we're giving staff the green light to proceed with the Strathcona Gardens Recreate project for applications. So on receipt, anyone opposed? That is carried. Moving on to the operations update at Recreation Gardens report. Robin.
Thank you through the CAO to the chair and the commissioners. This is just a bit of an update. We have some asbestos removal going on. It does impact a few rehabilitation programs that we have. We are minimizing moving some equipment around, but there will be some minor inconveniences, and we just wanted to make sure that you were informed in case you were contacted by people within the community that are not liking the inconvenience, and so now you've got some answers. We have some project work going on in this area, so it is a requirement to make sure that we take this asbestos out, so it's not much of an option for us. We just wanted to make sure you had the information.
Did we want, through to Mr. Leach, did we want to do a press release in the media just advising the public?
I don't know. Do we?
I think we've had enough time to contact the people that it's impacted. So I don't feel that that's necessary.
Okay. Commissioner Evans?
Yes, thank you. And I think just a sign even in the area for anybody that would be coming in just to understand what was going on might be appropriate. But I also, Chair, just wanted to ask, just for clarification on how the asbestos, and I appreciate you've got qualified contractors, but what is happening with the asbestos itself? Where is that being disposed of?
So the asbestos removal requires a licensed contractor to submit and get approval through WorkSafe BC prior to the work being started, and then they dispose of it as per the requirements set out by the province.
Okay.
And my reason for asking that, Chair, is just because oftentimes that's a question that comes to us, what's happened to the material, so thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Gunnerud?
Thank you, Chair. So, Robin, do I understand the main work is the old flooring coming out? But secondly, you're removing some of the ceiling asbestos, possible asbestos areas. Is that correct?
That is correct. There's a drywalled ceiling inside the arena as well as the entire Rod Brindamore lobby, and then 2 other office spaces that have a non-fibrous asbestos spackle sprayed onto the drywall. So it is encapsulated. We have some contractors updating some lighting, and they would be disturbing those areas, so we do need to remove it. But you are correct, it's the flooring, it's actually the glue holding the flooring down that contains asbestos, as well as the spackle on the drywall.
Okay, I like that while you have the area contained for asbestos removal, you're doing 2 projects within the same sealed off envelope as opposed to doing one this year and one a month or a week or a year later. So thanks, Robin.
Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder for the operations update report?
Move receipt.
Okay,
Second.
I think we had Commissioner Evans and Lee, but thank you. On receipt, anyone opposed? That is carried. Moving on to the adjustment to schedules of fees, charges, and rentals.
Move receipt.
Thank you. Seconder? Seconder, Commissioner Evans and Mr. Leach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think Robin's going to speak to this.
Thank you. Through the CAO to the chair and to the commissioners, this has been discussed at Strathcona Gardens for a number of years. I looked at what other rec facilities were doing, Comox Valley, Nanaimo. I pulled their fees and charges, bylaws, and information. They have a similar structure in place where they do minor increases each year. If we were to transfer to the final year, we would still be under what the other facilities are currently charging. We just wanted to do a very minor increase, roughly 2% each year. And then if it were to go past the 3 incremental increases, it would be another review by the commission. And this falls in line with the other rec facilities.
So I may, Mr. Chair, just let me preface it a little bit, but Commissioner Evans asked earlier our CFO to, and we should have included it in the report, what kind of net money this means. And Mike's come up with somewhere between 15 and 30,000, 15 in a COVID year, 30,000 in a regular. So this isn't life-changing money by any means. I think we should get on a path, but if the commission isn't comfortable now realizing that we've just completed the budget process and then it would take implementation and we would only collect it for part of the year, again, it's not life-changing money. If the commission's will is for give us the direction that we implement something this in the next financial plan, that works fine with us.
Okay. Commissioner Gunnerud?
Oh, sorry.
Commissioner Lee?
I'd like to move that we defer discussion of this fees and charges to the 2023 budget cycle. I really feel that we have gone through
We need
quite
Commissioner,
yeah.
We need a seconder.
Seconder.
For discussion.
So move to defer to
No.
2023 budget.
Is there? Okay, seconded by Commissioner Kerr. Commissioner Lee, go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like we ended up in somewhat of a surplus situation, according to Myers Norris Penny this afternoon. People on the ground that are traveling between games and sports facilities in other towns are really going to they're really feeling the pinch of the cost of getting there, the cost of living in general, but the price of gasoline is becoming a real burden for anybody involved in sports. And I think increasing our fees in our facility will make it even harder for them right now. So I think we should just wait till the next budget year and see how things bounce. Maybe the war in Ukraine will be over. Maybe, things will straighten out a little with the economy. But right now it is asking a lot to put the fees and charges up.
Okay, anything else from commission members? Commissioner Evans?
Thank you. I like the proposal that staff put forward to look at a 2% consistent fee increase. I think the challenge that I have is that it's been 8 years since any fee increase was done. And I think that the more prudent thing to do is to have a prescribed increase. 2% seems like a reasonable amount. So I'm not opposed to the motion on the floor, but I feel that we do need to look at our fee increases, and in some cases, this is 10 cents. It's not significant, but I think the more prudent thing is to recognize that over 8 years, fees have increased for Strathcona Gardens, and we're highly subsidizing some of these initiatives. So for me, the important thing is that we do consider fees and we don't wait another 8 years, but that we do have a consistent process and policy in place for reviewing our fee structure.
Thank you. And please don't take any offense, Commissioner Lee, but I wouldn't be supporting the motion. I think the staff report is very well done. I think by deferring it just means it's going to be a larger increase all at once. And this is phasing it in over a 3-year period. So, but I appreciate the comments and the intent. So on the motion, which is to defer to the financial planning, is anyone opposed?
I'm opposed.
And I'm opposed.
I am opposed.
And that is 3 opposed, 2 in favor. Motion is defeated. Subsequent, Commissioner Evans.
Yes, I'll move that the commission recommend the structured yearly increases to bylaw number 295 as set out in the April 28, 2022 report from the Chief Administrative Officer.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Lee, your hand's still up?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm taking it down here.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, staff, for the report and being proactive. I don't see any bylaws, Mr. Yates. No correspondence. Commissioners' reports. I will tie it into new business for me. I've got some goodies. Apparently, this is Kirk McLean's signature. Could be anybody's as far as I'm concerned, but it's not my color and it won't fit me. So I'd like to present it to the Strathcona Gardens Commission to do with it as they will. My wife and I did downsize, so she is telling me we have too many hockey jerseys. So I would also like to present the hockey jersey that was provided that can be framed and added to Strathcona Gardens as part of their features. So unless you've already put yours up in a box, so but there's that. And lastly, this was presented to the city of Campbell River, and because the city doesn't technically have an ice arena, and the Rod Brindamore Arena has got all the banners, this is the banner for Rogers Hometown Hockey that I would like to present to you, Robin, for Strathcona Gardens. If you want it.
Yes, absolutely, thank you. We'll be hanging that up.
Robin, just because maybe some of the other commissioners, just showing what it is.
Robin should wear them too, while he's doing that.
Oh.
So, through the chair, for those of us who have our face staring into a laptop,
Yep.
are we able to see said items?
Your foot touches
There's been no video feed all meetings, so can't see anything.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'll send a picture of
Sure.
Yeah.
Ron, just on that, you guys don't have any video of us here?
Nope,
Oh,
just the three of us.
oh,
So,
okay.
No.
Thanks for that.
So we will send pictures out, but it was the banner that was presented to the city, Ron. I think you were there, and then the jerseys you've seen in the past, and the toque is just a red and white toque that was handed out and has Kurt McLean's signature on it. So,
Nice.
okay. We don't need a motion or anything, Mr. Yates? Okay. Addendum items, so moving on to 55-plus BC Games, Commissioner Kerr.
Thank you, Chair, and I move that the May 6th, 2022 correspondence from the City of Campbell River regarding the 55-plus BC Games be received.
Second.
And Commissioner Kerr.
Thanks, and I'll have a subsequent that's in the report, but this was proposed to the City of Campbell River to investigate a joint project coming up at the 2024, 25, or 26 events for the BC. Now, for the BC 55 plus BC Games. You know, we've done this in the past, and I think probably everybody remembers that. So this is just to proceed with and I think if the city or the regional district does support it, it'll be included in that. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I'm sure if Robin's still there, I'll be in to talk to him, and he'll certainly be part of it. So like I say, I'll have a subsequent after receipt.
Okay, any discussion on receipt? Anyone opposed? That is carried, and Commissioner Kerr.
That the Strathcona Gardens Commission supports a jointly prepared application for the 2024, 2025, or the 2026. So just to be clear, that's not all three of them, that's one of them. 55 plus BC Games be held in the Comox Valley and the City of Campbell River, and that the Strathcona Gardens Commission will commit to providing in-kind support and services and facilities should the bid be successful.
Second.
And discussion.
So do
Commissioner Lee?
we have any idea what the cost of those in-kind contributions would be from past experience, or what? I don't even know what Drew Hadfield's asking for exactly. Like, what kind of facilities does he need from us? What kind of in-kind contributions? I don't know what he's asking for. It's like a blank check.
So Commissioner Gunnerud, you were very involved in the BC Winter Games that was hosted, I don't know what year it was. Can you provide any insight or background?
I believe our contribution was similar to a recent event that was held, the BC Midget Tier 2 Provincial Championships. In kind meeting room space, in kind ice resurfacing, dressing rooms, that type of thing at the gardens.
So would it be fair to say, Commissioner Gunnerud, that by doing that, there could be some deferred revenues that could be achieved by Strathcona Gardens that would be part of the contribution for that?
I would think so, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Kerr?
Yeah, there are revenue streams for these games. So, in terms of loss of revenue is probably not a concern. It is a big project, and it's going to take everybody in all communities pulling together. But I really do feel that, if there is an opportunity, that we should certainly research it. And this is just part of moving ahead with that.
Okay, Commissioner Lee?
So how long do the games go on for? How long are they? 2-3 days?
No, well, it's for probably all in all, probably 5 days,
Okay.
best part of a week.
And
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Leach?
This
Sorry, go ahead.
this year they'll be happening in Victoria in September of this year, so you got an opportunity to see it close up.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Leach, through to staff, any comments or concerns?
No, I mean, I think the resolution speaks for itself. In-kind support services, staff, availability of rooms and facilities. So I don't think it's going to have much of an impact on us, certainly.
Okay. Call the question. Anyone opposed? That is carried. Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Kerr. So we have no closed session.
Move termination.
Thank you.
Could we hold off on termination? I have two comments actually for Strathcona Gardens staff.
Go ahead.
So first off, I'd like to thank Robin and the staff from the BC Hockey Midget Tier 2 Championships. The facility got rave reviews from the out-of-town teams. The cooperation with staff with allowing the teams to use Arena 2, the larger dressing rooms, and the users of Arena 2 moving over to the smaller dressing rooms was much appreciated. I communicated with the maintenance and operations regularly on the condition of the rooms, and they said that the teams were above and beyond respectable of keeping those rooms clean. Because my threat to them was if those rooms are not kept clean, they'll be moving over into the small rooms in Arena 1. And I gave a few of the coaches a tour of the rooms in Arena 1, and they assured me that the rooms in Arena 2 would be kept in despicable, very good conditions. So thanks for that, Robin and your staff, as well as a short notice to Robin that a presentation would be being made to Kyle Bukowskis from Sportsnet, seeing as he was here for Rogers Hometown Hockey in the lobby of the Brindamore Arena, that he cleaned things up and got things organized, and we did a surprise presentation to Kyle, and Kyle Bukowskis is now a member of our Campbell Minor Hockey Wall of Honor.
Nice.
And we will be working with Strathcona Gardens, Robin and his staff, and expanding the Wall of Honor as we have Kyle, and then we have two other Campbell River University hockey graduates who are also in line to be up on the wall. So it's a positive thing looking forward. So thank you, Robin, and your staff.
Thank you, Commissioner Gunnerud. And I do have to say that, we have a couple of players that are moving on. Jalen Price moving on to Victoria, and Nolan Corrado moving on to, I believe it's the Okanagan College that are moving up and on. But I want to congratulate you and thank you for the work that you did in getting that tournament here to Campbell River, and to be there on the ice with all of the teams present, and to have Kyle do a video broadcast as a former Campbell River Tyee under-18 teammate. But then to have that followed up by Rod Brindamore doing a video presentation to the players was very inspiring. So well done. You pulled some strings and got some connections. So thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And the other thing, if people haven't seen the photo that Kyle chose before he knew he was going onto the wall, I had his parents ask Kyle to, if you were to have a picture that minor hockey could put in their office or on their website of you as a former Canberra minor hockey player who's now a professional broadcaster, and the photo that he dug up through the archives was him speaking to in Toronto after Rod Brindamore's Carolina Hurricanes defeated the Maple Leafs with the Zamboni driver in net for the last period of the game. So the connection to the Wall of Honor is in Toronto, Kyle interviewing the Zamboni driver who had to play for Rod Brindamore's Carolina Hurricanes. So it's quite the picture, quite the photograph.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's a great positive note to terminate. So we'll call the question, is anyone opposed?
Not I, said the cat.
Good to see everyone.
We're
Bye now.
adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Thanks, everyone. Play safe.